Joining us now is retired FBI agent and attorney Bobby Chacon. Bobby, this is already an international investigation because Livesberger was stationed in Germany on leave in Colorado at the time of the bombing. So agents are out searching and questioning people in Colorado and on the Army base in Germany.
Oh, sure. And the FBI has offices in Germany. We have the agents stationed around the world. So I'm sure they've already been interviewing a lot of his coworkers, his Army buddies and things like that, and his wife in Colorado Springs. And I think that those are the most important interviews in this case to get a sense of where this guy's mind was at, what kind of personality he had, what his demeanor was like in the previous days and weeks and even months. So I think that those are going to be very important interviews to give a light of what this guy was facing.
Yeah, though his wife said he hadn't seen or heard from him in several days. We haven't heard anything yet because it's so early on in this investigation of something that might have been happening in his life or some mental health crisis.
That's right. And you know, PTSD sometimes does hide itself in other behaviors and stuff. And his neighbors in Colorado described him as very, very calm demeanor and very even demeanor. And so sometimes those inner demons make you keep yourself as calm as you can because you're trying to hide them from people. That's why some of his Army buddies, you know, may be able to shed even more light than his own wife would, because sometimes guys in those kind of units open up to their buddies, his brothers in arms, even more so than the wife.
Yeah, they'll confide because they think, he's going through the same thing. They're calling it a suicide mission, but this is quite a way to commit suicide, driving all that way, renting a Tesla Cybertruck, blowing it up in front of a Trump hotel. It sounds like he's trying to send some sort of message here to President-elect Trump and his now chief supporter and advisor, Elon Musk.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, Elizabeth. I mean, we've all heard the stat that we lose 22 soldiers a day to suicide, right? And none of them do it in this spectacular fashion. And so, yeah, this was some type of statement, probably an anti-Trump statement, coming from this individual. Now, again, talking to his Army buddies, maybe looking through his social media footprint, his digital footprint on his computer, things that he might have been reading or writing and things like that may lend some evidence of that statement that he wanted to make. But certainly this was a spectacular statement to make.
Yeah, we haven't seen or heard anything yet about any political leanings he may or may not have had. It would be unusual, for a Green Beret, an active duty Green Beret who won medals of valor, to be ardently anti-Trump, but I guess we don't know. But it is clear he did mean to kill himself. I mean, he shot himself in the head seconds before that truck exploded.
Yeah, I'm imagining he had the gun to his head at the same time he has his finger on the detonator, and he did both at the same time. And so this was a deliberate suicide in a very spectacular fashion, that he wanted to go out and make some type of statement. Unfortunately, we don't really know what that statement was yet, and we may never know because it's very unclear on why you would do it this way.
He did appear to not mean to harm anybody. He pulled up in the driveway. Nobody else was outside at the point. If his aim was to hurt other people, he could have waited until folks were out and about. He arrived in Vegas around 7:30 a.m., drove around the Strip for an hour, and then pulled into this driveway, and boom, that was it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's the exact opposite of the New Orleans attack, which wanted a high body count. That's what ISIS does. He ran over enough people, as many as he could, got out of his car and started shooting people. So this was the exact opposite of, he didn't want a body count, because certainly he could have jumped the curb in front of the Bellagio, or he could have, driven up to a show, a hotel that houses one of those big shows with people queued up for Ubers and taxis, and could have taken out a lot more people with that spectacular explosion that we saw. But he chose to go to a place where, in that video, the spectacular explosion, but you don't see another human being. And certainly in Vegas, there's a lot of crowds, and there's a lot of places that a spectacular explosion like that would have taken out a lot more people. Yeah. So yeah, this is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, and of course the whole question, not only the Trump hotel and the Tesla Cybertruck, why Vegas? That's another thing. By the way, Bobby, it's interesting to note that, PTSD, these kinds of mental health issues, happen to strike military veterans At more than twice the rate as the general population, obviously because they're out there seeing such traumatic things often in the course of their duty. Something we really obviously need to address and will probably cover in the coming days. Bobby Chacon, thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Really, really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Elizabeth.
All right.